Is it a good idea to purchase this 16GB version of the RX 9060 XT to play the latest games at 1440p resolution? Let's find out. To test this, I'm using the Asus Prime OC version of the 9060 XT paired with the Ryzen 7 9800X3D CPU to avoid any bottlenecks. And we'll be experiencing the games today on the QD OLED by MSI. This is a 360Hz panel, model name 271QRX. If you are interested in any of the products featured in this video, you can find them on Amazon at the links in the description below. There is no need to spend that much money on Windows 11 Pro when you can get it much cheaper at cdkeyoffer.com. Additionally, use discount code iVadim to get 25% off and bring the total price down to $22. Furthermore, you can find Windows 10 Pro as well as Microsoft Office at much cheaper prices as well. Get yours now at the link in the description below, and don't forget to use discount code iVadim to get 25% off. Let's start with the Oblivion Remastered. This game is built in Unreal Engine 5 and it is quite GPU demanding. We are at 1440p. By the way, this game supports FSR 4 but not natively. We had to use AMD's Adrenalin software to upgrade FSR to FSR 4. That's easily done with just one click, so no big deal. It works well. We won't use the resolution upscaling just yet. Let's start with the native anti-aliasing solution, no frame generation either, software ray tracing set to high, and settings are set to high with the exception of textures. They are set to ultra because textures, they don't consume FPS. The only thing necessary to use higher texture quality is the video memory, and we have plenty on this thing, 16GB. That's probably the best selling point for this graphics card, and well, we'll see how well it runs, because I was not happy with the RTX 5060 in this game. We had to use medium textures to make it work properly because we were just running out of memory, and no wonder. We're already using close to 10GB on this thing, although, you know, you can't really compare it apples to apples, NVIDIA's memory usage and AMD's memory usage. But if you want to know how the RTX 5060 works in this game and other games, then check out my video, it's already up on the channel. It was horrible. While this is already a playable experience, I don't consider it to be a pleasant experience because we are at 40 plus FPS. Not bad, but not great either. Considering that this is a $350 GPU, if you can get it at MSRP that is, it's not actually that bad. Check out the power consumption, 175 watts. By the way, if you're thinking, what's the big deal with FSR 4? It is important. Even if you want to play your games at native resolution, it still delivers a much better anti-aliasing solution. So you need a better FSR implemented in all of your games if you are considering buying an AMD graphics card. And unfortunately, right now, DLSS 4 is implemented in a lot more games compared to FSR 4. However, FSR 4 support is growing quite quickly. So while I was skeptical at the beginning, a couple of months ago, now I'm quite hopeful that AMD is actually on the right track. But we'll see how it goes. We'll check today's games, if there is FSR 4 supported or not, how is the overall experience, but I'm pretty sure that we can get a pleasant experience even in this game. Let's start using the upscaling, FSR 4 quality mode. Okay, this is much better. 60 plus FPS already. Pretty good. And FSR 4 looks quite nice as well. It's not perfect. I like DLSS 4 in this game more because they're still like shimmering in the leaves during movement. So some of the finer details are not being resolved properly. But in terms of the overall presentation on the screen, it is quite good. Compared to FSR 3.1, this is a massive improvement, and generally FSR 4 is on par with DLSS 4 in terms of image quality. It loses somewhere, it wins somewhere else, so it's like a tug of war. Not like DLSS 4 looks perfect in this game either. I see some smearing and ghosting using DLSS 4 too. So this is okay. Although I really do want to see more improvements, because this sizzling during motion in the finer details such as grass and leaves, it can be really distracting. We can add frame generation on top of this to boost the image smoothness. Although I am not a huge fan of frame generation in its current form, take a look at those frame rate spikes. Yeah, that's not great. While the overall image is looking smoother, it's not as smooth as it could have been if those frame time fluctuations weren't there. So it needs some work. It definitely needs some work. And I'm not sure if the overall image quality reduction is worth it to enable frame generation in this scenario. Nah, I don't like it. Let's turn it off and let's try using hardware ray tracing, because AMD is behind NVIDIA in that regard. So let's see, will we be able to get a pleasant experience using hardware ray tracing in this game? Alright, so the game is frozen. It straight up refuses to use hardware ray tracing low preset. Yeah, the EU Oblivion Remastered fatal error, that's what it says. I reloaded my PC a few times, tried troubleshooting this, it doesn't work, so that is quite odd. So I guess we'll have to use ray tracing medium instead of low. I haven't experienced this issue on other AMD RX 9000 series cards, so it appears that this issue is specific to the 9060 XT. Hopefully AMD can fix it quickly, because that's not good. We'll have to use medium RT, which is a shame because low RT delivers a much better performance. But we'll see. Maybe the 9060 XT will be able to handle medium RT as well. FSR stays on quality mode. Oh, and let's turn off frame generation. Everything else stays on high, textures on ultra. We're getting close to 50 FPS with drops into high 40s. Oh, almost mid 40s right there. Yeah, it appears that the medium ray tracing is a little bit too much for the 9060 XT to handle. While it does look a little bit nicer than low, it is just not worth it. Although, hold on a second, what are those spikes? You see that? That does not look good. Huh. Yeah, it appears that ray tracing is not working quite well on the 9060 XT. Although, hold on a second, it's not happening anymore. Yeah, it's with the Unreal Engine 5, it's difficult to tell if it's just the regular Unreal Engine 5 stutters or something else entirely, because this game stutters quite a bit when you roam around the map. Yeah, it appears to be working quite okay. Oh, something I noticed right away is the reflections quality. There's just way too much noise in those reflections. Yeah, even on NVIDIA GPUs, the noise is present in those reflections, but it's nowhere near as bad as what I see in front of me right now. These reflections do not look good at all. Although, it's not with every reflection. For example, over here, it looks okay. It's only when we are looking at something like the trees, where there's a lot of leaves that need to be distinguished by the rays in the ray tracing. I think that's where the problem lies. Let's see what happens if we use the ultra ray tracing quality, because previously I've seen pretty much no difference in performance, so might as well just use the ultra ray tracing. Indeed, there is minimal performance difference between using medium ray tracing and ultra ray tracing, whilst ultra ray tracing does look nicer, because those reflections are more detailed. Yeah, the noise is still there, but not in all reflections. At least in some reflections it's not as noticeable. I can't say that this is a win. I prefer how NVIDIA GPUs handle ray tracing in this game. On the other hand, if we are in an area where there's no reflections, no water, then using hardware ray tracing really makes a huge difference. Just take a look at this city. Yeah, it feels more realistic using ray tracing. And we're getting above 70 FPS in some cases. Let me remind you that right now we're using the highest ray tracing preset. There are some reflections, but because there's no trees around, they look okay. It looks fine. Yeah, after witnessing this, I think that ray tracing on the 9060 XT is okay to use. I don't mind using it. Kingdom Come Deliverance 2 is one of my favorite games this year, although I've paused my playthrough because I'm way more into Clair Obscur Expedition 33 right now. That game is phenomenal, it's a masterpiece, but I'll definitely come back to this game later on to finish it. And let's take a look at the settings, shall we? We're using Ultra Graphics Quality preset, 1440p resolution, and native anti-aliasing. I know it says FSR 3.1 there. It's one of those games where we can use AMD's Adrenaline software to upgrade FSR 3.1 to FSR 4, which I did, so we're actually using FSR 4. This is already a playable experience, 50 plus FPS, but there could be some scenes where the FPS will drop below 50, which is not ideal. I like playing this game with well above 60 FPS, preferably 90, but 60 is still pleasant. So as a result, I think we should lower some settings, make some adjustments to keep that FPS at 60 plus, because currently we're getting dips below 50 in some scenes. First, let's check if resolution upscaling can help us with that. Let's select the FSR 4 quality mode. There we go. Well above 60 actually, above 70 FPS in this particular scene. And let's just take a look at the image quality, because we had some issues in the Oblivion Remastered with FSR 4, but in this game, yeah, I don't see any significant issues. Everything seems to be stable enough. Yeah, the canopies of the trees, they look beautiful. No sizzling, like we've seen in the Oblivion Remastered. And the grass, it looks good as well. Yeah, FSR 4 works really well in this game. I like it. And using the quality mode is is a win actually, because it looks almost as good as native resolution on the 27-inch screen. It's good, I tell you. I like it. And 60 plus FPS, high 60s actually. Beautiful, beautiful experience. If AMD can achieve this kind of experience in every game, then damn, Nvidia is in trouble. If you're still on FSR 3.1, then I'm telling you, FSR 4 is worth it. What I can compare it to is playing your game on something like medium or low textures and then just cranking them up to ultra for the first time. That's how different the experience is. Probably even more significant than that, because FSR 3 and 3.1, it looks absolutely horrible, even at native resolution. If you're using FSR 3.1 native AA, it doesn't look good, at least in comparison to FSR 4 and DLSS 4. Let's check FSR 4 balanced mode. Let's see. Will that be any good? This looks better than I expected. Of course, the image is slightly softer because the resolution is lower, but the overall image presented on the screen is still enjoyable. If you're just running around, doing your thing, missions, fighting, and you want higher FPS, then FSR 4 balanced mode is absolutely usable now. Compared to FSR 3.1, that is, which was unusable in any form for me, but I know that people enjoyed it in the quality mode. I'm telling you, even the balanced mode, FSR 4, is 1,000 times better than FSR 3.1 native anti-aliasing. Let's go back to native resolution and lower the graphics quality to high, alright? As you can see, if we lower the graphics quality just a little bit, we can get to a perfectly beautiful and pleasant experience, even without the help of upscaling. 60 plus FPS. Consistently. Nice. Now I'm curious, can we get 90 FPS? Next level experience? Let's see, FSR 4 quality mode enabled, let's go. Marvelous. 100 plus FPS over here. Amazing, amazing. 149 over here. And let's go to the area where the FPS usually drops. 100 plus still. And over here, oh, 90 plus. Yes, 90 plus consistently. Next level experience. Beautiful, beautiful. By the way, even in this not particularly GPU demanding game, we're still using above 9 GB of memory, so if you're thinking about buying the 8 GB version of the 9060 XT to play the latest games, I don't recommend it. It's best to just spend a little bit more on the 16 GB version to enjoy your games properly with the highest texture quality. Unfortunately, not every new game supports FSR 4 natively or even override. For example, Expedition 33 doesn't have any FSR support whatsoever. It's just DLSS 4 and XeSS, Intel's XeSS. The game is actually running a benchmark to evaluate your PC when you launch it for the first time, and it sets settings that are just recommended. So let's take a look at what the game has recommended for us using the 9060 XT. High graphics quality preset, XeSS resolution upscaling set to Ultra Quality Plus, and that is 77% of resolution. Everything is set to high. Let's take a look at the performance. Unfortunately, XeSS running on non-Intel GPUs doesn't look good in this game. Yeah, it's just such a horrible presentation. There's sizzling all around the character, the hair, the grass. Everything is sizzling. That's not good. But at least the performance is pretty good. Take a look at that. We're getting well above 60 FPS. That's actually nice. I really hope that FSR will come to this game eventually, because why not? Why the hell not? And I hope it will be FSR 4 native implementation. Expedition 33 is a phenomenal game. I'm enjoying it so much, even though I am not a fan of the genre. Let's see if we can get a better experience using TSR, that is, anti-aliasing and upscaling solution native to the Unreal Engine 5, and this is an Unreal Engine 5 game. It's hard to tell the difference. It still looks bad. Probably as bad as XeSS. I don't like it. But the FPS is once again quite high. So there's that. Personally, I'd stick to using XeSS, and let's take a look at the native resolution performance, okay? So no upscaling whatsoever, using the high graphics quality preset. I can't say that the overall image quality is any better. There's still a lot of noise and sizzling everywhere. You look around the character, the hair, the grass. Yeah, it's not looking good. But it's definitely better than TSR, because TSR, it had issues with partially translucent particles, such as these right here. Something is like falling off of that sword right there. At least on XeSS it looks somewhat normal. Yeah, I definitely think that we should use XeSS. Ultra Quality Plus is okay. By the way, DLSS quality mode as well as FSR quality mode is not at 77%. It is at 66.66%, basically 67% resolution. Intel is using a little bit different names for their scaling. It's called Ultra Quality instead of Quality. But yeah. Let's take a look at the Ultra Quality Plus once more, and we can actually use the highest texture quality, because texture quality doesn't lower the FPS, it only requires additional VRAM to run, and we have plenty of that. As I'm running around, yes, I do see those visual imperfections, but are they spoiling the gameplay? Not as much as I first thought. Of course, having a better image quality is pretty good, especially in a beautiful game such as this one. It features just an amazing world. It looks so beautiful, like a piece of art. So it's a shame that we can't experience it in its full glory on the 9060 XT as of yet, but the game is still enjoyable. You can play it, no issues. Even when we are out and about on the world map, the FPS is still pretty good, but yeah, this is where the image quality comes in, the poor image quality, because yeah, I'm playing this game on an RTX 5080, and it's a completely different experience visually. In a game like this, I really want to experience the entire beauty of this world, because this world is indeed beautiful. Just take a look at it. Let me just remove the overlay for now. It is a piece of art. Literally, piece of art. And the fact that we can't see it properly because of the XeSS, that's not making me very happy. But it's still playable. Let's take a look at one more game that features visually transformative hardware ray tracing. This is Assassin's Creed Shadows. It also supports FSR 4 via AMD's Adrenaline app, so you have to update it. This game shipped with FSR 3 natively. Let's start with the native anti-aliasing 1440p resolution and optimized graphics settings, but ray tracing is fully enabled. Diffuse plus specular everywhere, ray tracing quality medium, BVH medium, everything else is on high, ultra high texture pool because we have 16 gigabytes of memory, we don't have to worry about memory, and everything else is pretty much on high. Character quality very high, hair strands player only, and fog and clouds high. Alright, this is a little bit heavy for the 9060 XT. This is a very GPU demanding game and pretty GPU demanding settings. Ray tracing, okay. But we're still getting 30 plus FPS. So there is some hope. Actually, we can do something else to optimize those settings. We can lower the light source quality to medium and shadow quality to medium. That doesn't affect the visuals too much, and it will give us a little bit more performance. You see, we're getting a little bit closer to 40, but still mainly in the 30s. So, without the help of resolution upscaling, it's pretty much impossible to enjoy this game properly with everything maxed out, ray tracing. Yeah, we'll just have to use FSR for upscaling. Let's start with the quality mode. Yes, there it is, quality mode enabled. Oh, this isn't too bad already. Close to 50. At least it's playable and pretty smooth. Alright. 50 plus over here. And FSR 4, yeah, it looks good in this game. Pretty nice. Much better than the FSR 3 that it shipped with. That really grinded my gears when this game first came out with FSR 3 and the 9070 XT and the 9070 graphics cards were already out and there was no FSR 4 in this game. I was so disappointed. FSR 3 looked so horrible, even at native FSR, native AA, it was horrible. But this looks good. Maybe we can achieve that 60 FPS using FSR 4 balanced mode? Let's check. In some scenes, yes, but only briefly. In other scenes, it's still going to be a 50 plus FPS experience, but at least we're not dipping below 50 now. So this is a very nice experience indeed. This is not a fast-paced game, so you can actually enjoy it at 45 plus FPS if you wanted to. Enjoy the visuals. And it is a beautiful game. The world looks beautiful. And even if FSR 4 balanced, it doesn't look too bad. Sure, the image is a little bit softer, but it doesn't have any major issues that are plaguing FSR 3.1. This is good enough, I would say. This experience is pleasant. It is quite amazing to see that you can use the 9060 XT, essentially a 60 class graphics card, to enjoy ray tracing. Ray tracing in the newest games, alright? With good visuals. It's not like we're on low settings. 1440p monitor, I think this is pretty good. And if you want a little bit of extra fluidity, you can always use frame generation. Let's enable that. There we go, 100 plus FPS right now. And the controls responsiveness is absolutely fine. No issues there. And the game actually doesn't feel or look that bad with frame generation. Yeah, this is an okay experience. I mean, if you don't mind frame generation, then this experience is actually quite good. Better than without frame generation, definitely. If you have a high refresh rate monitor that can do above 60 FPS, above 60 Hz, then it's worth checking out frame generation. You might like it. In conclusion, I am very much impressed with what AMD has achieved with the RX 9060 XT 16GB version. Yes, it has its problems, mainly FSR 4 support. Yeah, the adoption rate is a little bit slow, but it's not as slow as FSR 3. A lot more games are coming out with DLSS 4, but AMD is getting there. It's just taking some time, alright? Considering alternatives, what is it? The RTX 5060? No thanks. 8GB is making that graphics card dead to me. It's just horrible. If you want to know more, just watch my videos on this thing. I tested it at various resolutions, and even at 1080p, I did not like it at all. While the RX 9060 XT, as long as AMD can keep the price below $400 at $350, preferably, MSRP, then yes, this is it. If you want a good graphics card, then look no further. The 16GB RX 9060 XT is the winner. Forget about the 5060 by NVIDIA. It's trash. And who knows? Maybe it will push NVIDIA to actually lower the 16GB 5060 Ti prices, because those are quite high right now. And while the 5060 Ti is obviously better than this, it is just way too expensive. As a result, the 9060 XT gets my recommendation. Yeah, and the Asus Prime version, yeah, it's pretty good. I like it. It's not loud, good cooling, good performance, beautiful. If you're interested in any of the products featured in this video, you can find them on Amazon and the links in the description below. Let me know in the comments below, what do you think about the 9060 XT? And reward my work with a like if you enjoyed the video. Subscribe for more if you haven't already. It was I, Vadim. Until next time.